Hello, everyone. Welcome. And I'm happy that you have decided to join us for this live broadcast. Today, I'm not alone. Today, I have a guest. I'm the host of this video, and I have a guest. And the guest is my friend and my Portuguese teacher and tutor. His name is Haroldo Machado. He is from Brazil. And well, he teaches many different people Portuguese, English. And today we will be talking about languages as usual, but we will be talking about different skills that you need to become a successful language learner. So, Arolda, hi, thank you for joining me today.
Hello, Mila. Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here. It's a pleasure to be here. So, thank you for inviting me. I'm really happy to be here today with you guys.
Okay, thank you. So, Arolda, I have a question to start with. How did you start teaching? Because I know that originally your professional background was slightly different. How did you decide to change your profession and why did you start teaching languages?
Very good question. Thank you, Mila. So, it was a very interesting thing because a lot of facts in a row they happened in the past, and I have been changing my official profession for many times. But when I decided to start teaching, actually, it was all about needs and for Brazilian people, which was my first main audience at all, because I'm from Brazil, and in Brazil we have such a different way to learn English that is not effective at all. So it's very hard to see people who can speak good English in Brazil, and we are very disappointed when we go abroad. So that's why we I started teaching English because it was something that I found that need, and at first time my need, because I moved abroad and I checked how hard was being that. So I decided to study more and to teach like my people how to survive. But this came like big, and now I teach not only Brazilians but many people from different places in the world. So it's been like a method I decided to use in order to make it effective and not that not that robotically, not that so slow, because people don't have this time, and most likely they don't reach their goals. So that's why I decided to start it.
Unfortunately, we have exactly the same situation in Russia and in Ukraine because children learn English for 10 or 11 years at school. Then they go to university, they learn English again, and very few people can really speak. And I find it extremely disappointing. And the same is about official courses because very often people decide to take a course in some language school. They come, they start, and then it takes them 3 or 4 years to get some result, and that's extremely disappointing because it is so slow. You simply can't survive using tools that are so ineffective. How did you start learning English? So how did it happen that your experience was different and you
Mhm.
started really speaking it and using it in your everyday life?
Okay. Well, one thing that was hard is that when I realized that I always have my, I always had my methods to learn things. So when I realized that at school it was impossible to learn effectively, like I was learning nothing, so I said, no, now it's time to go it by myself. But I was always interested in the language. Like, I'm a musician, so I always like to listen to the words, like the lyrics, and start then like checking what do they mean, all the words. So for me it was very nice. So I always had my personal interest in the language. But when I realized that I was not able to speak very well, so I said, no, now I need some like effort, like a good means to do that. So I started to try like to talk to people and to native people. And in Brazil it was very hard to find because there's not so many native English speakers over there. So especially in my place, I came from a countryside city, so It's not that usual to have these people. And I started studying a lot, like a massive effort to study using different resources at the same time. So we started paying attention at things, actually. So not only letting it come, but using my notebook, my pen, and writing down the words I didn't know. So it was step by step. And for sure, these conversations with native speakers, they took a long time to happen, and they were very expensive for me. So it was not something I could like afford, like as such as my needs was saying me. So I was starting once in a week, but using all the other days to study in such different methods, like watching movies or maybe listening to the songs and trying to catch up everything. So it was step by step. But I think that with my English from school, it won't be possible, definitely. So I needed something else. That's why I started to use my own methods, which became my main methods today.
What is more difficult, to teach English or to teach Portuguese?
Oh, this is a. I think this is not a hard question. Well, when I'm teaching Portuguese, it's something even harder for me because it's natural. So I'm interested in Portuguese language as well, so I know basic concepts, but I really started studying this concept, studying back to teach because I speak, it's my language. So there are many things that I speak naturally, and I don't know, like I didn't know at that time, like why I was saying that. It was just coming naturally. And then I decided to come back and to study grammar again in Portuguese, so my native language. So it was like coming back into school, coming back to fourth grade or something, in order to study. But English, it's easier for me to teach because I have learned that. So I needed to learn grammar, I needed to learn the rules and pronunciation, all the topics. So for me, it's not that hard to, to teach English. But what I always show it and make it clear to my students is that I'm non-native. So you are learning like from a person who has learned it. And this is very important because when you are learning this, you can't imitate my accent, for example, because this would not be a good idea. You should imitate native speakers, but you can learn grammar with me maybe better than you would do with a native speaker because sometimes they don't know why they're saying that things. So there are differences in this two process.
Yeah, I totally agree with you because I also think that non-native speakers who teach English have a huge advantage because we go the same way. We just know the way our students go because we have done it ourselves. Yeah, but and we are usually very good at explaining grammar and different things which may not be so clear for British people or American people because they just use them and they never think about them. But well, native speakers are definitely much better for understanding different shades of meaning in some specific vocabulary, understanding the stylistic reference, which is rude, which is okay, in what situation it is rude and in what situation it is okay, and definitely pronunciation. I always think that it's not a good idea to take pronunciation classes from a non-native speaker because however good, well, we are, however, you know, persistent we are in, correcting everything, this is next to impossible. So I fully agree
Mhm.
with you, and I also find teaching Russian or Ukrainian, which I do occasionally because I have friends learning Russian or Ukrainian, much harder than,
Uh-huh.
than teaching English because there are things which I don't know.
Yeah.
Recently I have had a very bad surprise because I found out that there is a tense which is very similar to past perfect in Ukrainian,
Mm.
and I have been using it for ages, but somehow I didn't name from school. So it was a nice surprise for me when one of my friends asked me, "Look, why do they say like that? Why are there two verbs in the past tense one by one?" And I thought, "Oh my God!"
You
So
know?
I have absolutely forgotten about it. Yeah.
Yeah, and one thing that is interesting is that when I decided to stop, like taking lessons with native speakers to check those differences, like what is rude or what is natural, or maybe two similar, like very similar words, not similar, but two words for the same meaning in our point of view. And they asked, so it happened to me. I was asking a teacher, like a native speaker, an English native speaker, what's the difference between this word and that word? And they say, well, we use this word for this and this other word for that. They say, okay, but why? And I said, I don't know. So that's the point, which is I decided to study by myself and to search like the definitions, the explanations online. We have very like uncountable good resources online, so endless. And that's why it's something good that helped me to teach my students today. And I have some students from not from Russia, from Ukraine, but also from other places here in Europe. Like they don't have a good English at school at all, just like us. And then they decide to teach to learn with a different teacher, a non-native, because sometimes with a native it's harder to understand, and sometimes they don't make the effort to uh, like to make it standard for you, like to
Yeah.
make it clear. So or say it clear. No, they use a lot of natural terms, things that we will never understand, that they are not on the books. So it
Yeah.
makes the process like slower.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, I have another question. What do you think are the necessary skills which a person must have in order to become a successful language learner?
Very good question. I like to discuss this topic. Well, there are some things that are important when you are learning a language, and I like to compare this moment with the moment when you were a child and we were like children, because when you were a child, you were like discovering the world around, and you were learning a new language, which is your native language. So this is a moment when you have this need, this special need, because once you don't learn, you will not be able to ask for things. So you know, and I know, and many people will know that the first word that the every uh, young learner will learn, like a child, it's no. So this is the first word, and the next one is I want, because it's the first need. So when you're going to give something to the baby and they say no in many different languages, and when you show something they want, they say I want. So this is basically the two first words uh, about needs. And we don't have this need, this special need, because we can't express ourselves in our language. So the first point in my like in my opinion is your clear goal. So when you have a goal, like a special need, maybe you would like to make more money at your work, so you'd like to learn more languages. So try to like check why you would like to learn the language, because it's for a hobby, so you can take your time and you can do it on your pace. There's no hurry. But if you have a special need, so this is the first thing you should consider in order to check how much you'd like to invest on your lessons, and how much not only money but also time and energy. So depending on your hurry, you can study every day, and this means a lot during the long run. So I think this is the first thing. And after that, the way you organize your things, so your routine of studying, this is very important. So you should like be consistent, like never stop every day a little bit. You don't need to study like 4 hours a day, but if you can study 30 minutes a day, it's enough, because this is just to make it consistent. And try to think about the language like in the other times you are not studying. So you can think about it, like you can try to think in the new language. So this will make difference when you were relaxed. You don't need to do it when you were working, because you were focused in another thing. You can try to create some conversation. So I truly believe that it's to be a new and a good learner, it's important to have these goals and to have this routine, to be organized on your purpose, because this way you check the results coming. So it will not be like something random. It will have the results, the goals. So if you have small goals, for example, you always see you're getting to the point and you're reaching your goals and you be happy. Like you start with a small goal, like I would like to be able to introduce myself very well in a very natural way. Start with it, work on that. And then when you get it, you go to the next goal. So for sure, this is my way to do that. You have to find your own way because it's different. Like everyone learns differently. So it's nice to understand it and to respect it. Some
Yeah.
methods work from different people, some others don't. So it's nice to try to like recognize what's your way, your style, or your learning style.
Yeah, it's interesting because I don't really remember who said it. I think it was Walter Emerson. He said that methods are 1,000, but principles are few. Yeah, and who learns together with principles will necessarily succeed, and who only remembers about the methods would finally fail. And I think that methods are numerous. There are different software that you can use. There are 100 ways of learning vocabulary.
Hmm.
Mind maps, association, Sankey, spaced repetition, whatever. But such things as consistency and goal setting are principles. So if you don't have any goal and if you're not consistent, no method will be effective because there is simply no, you know, process that you are in order to achieve your goal.
Hmm.
That's
Yeah.
it.
And it's nice to compare. For example, I have been through some situations, like I came across different situations like over these years, and some there are different people and different people believe in different things. So once you have your consistency, like your way to learn and your routine and your goals, you do it by yourself. For sure, you can count on your teacher, and it's very important to have one, especially in the very beginning. But don't think that your teacher is doing the job. You are doing the job. Your teacher is a tool, like it's just here to help you. So if you think the teacher is the responsible for you to learn the language, you'd better go to live with him.
Okay.
So go to live with your teacher because this is the only way to learn full time. This is all about you. It's your job, so you have to do it yourself and try to make the most of your teacher's presence close to you and to use it as a tool. So that's what it is. It's a tool. It's someone who's here to help you and to guide you through this journey, and not to like input all the information. Like I compare with Matrix, the movie, when you want to learn how to drive something, a special car, or to pilot a helicopter. So you ask and they put the information. No, it's not the way it works.
Yeah. Unfortunately, well, but maybe fortunately, who knows?
Yeah.
Because otherwise we would have no job. Yeah. So maybe it's good that we can't really, upload the information in this way. Okay, good. Haroldo, thank you very much for joining me today. I think it was a very interesting conversation, and for me, it is always very pleasant to see that my colleagues and my friends have fairly the same ideas as I do, because sometimes I think that maybe I'm wrong. But if there are so many people who think the same, then they can't all be wrong.
Yeah.
So I find it very comforting and soothing. So thank you very much for joining me today. I hope that our friends have also enjoyed this talk, and well, they will agree with us that consistency is very important and having a real goal is very important, and also taking the responsibility for your learning process is also a key to your success. And well, uh, So if you have any questions, our dear guys, dear listeners, so if you have any questions, you can write them in the comments below, and I will try to answer them next time. And if you have any topics you want to discuss, then please suggest them also, and we are sure to have a new line next year to help you with some specific language problems. So thank you very much. Haroldo,
Thank
thank
you,
you again
Mila.
for joining me. And well, bye bye. See you soon.
Thank you, Mila. See you